We are going to take a look at how to complete and use the Minimum Support Financial Calculation tool. So to access the Minimum Financial Support Calculation tool, you will want to open up the rstp.ca website. When you land on the home page, you'll just need to navigate to the menu item Responsibilities and scroll down until you reach Minimum Financial Support Calculator. Click on that and the calculation tool will open. Now you'll want to read this preliminary information before you use the calculation tool. There's some important links here to documents that you will want to read through and understand before you use the calculation tool. In particular, the frequently asked questions for post-arrival financial support. This document should be used in conjunction with calculating your minimum financial support amounts. Okay, let's get started. So you're going to want to input the information related to the family situation for the refugees that you intend to sponsor. To begin with, you want to identify the community where they're going to settle. Select from the drop-down list which province they'll settle in. For the purpose of this demonstration, we're going to select British Columbia. And then you can also select the location. Now, some common settlement locations have been listed here, but you also have the option to select other in case your location isn't listed. But for the purpose of this demonstration, we're going to select Vancouver. Next, you're going to want to input the family size. We're going to do a family size for a single parent who has 3 children. Next, you're going to identify the number of people in this family who are adults. In this case, we have a single adult who is not a senior citizen, and we're going to select single, not senior. As soon as I do that, the number of children is automatically input for me here. So as I scroll down, I'm going to need to input the ages of the children. The first child I'm going to put as 2 years old, the second as 6 years old, and the third we'll put as 18. I'm going to scroll down. The next few questions, we're not actually going to do any inputs for these remaining ones because for this demonstration, we are filling out as if it was at the time of application. So we are generating an estimate cost. If this was the time of arrival and someone in the family was pregnant, or there was a newborn child, then we would select yes from the drop-down list, and it would add some additional financial allowances. Same for any individuals who may have dietary needs, you would make a selection of yes. If there were any persons who had disabilities and were non-employable, you would also select an option here. And for this last one, it's important for you to understand if this is the time of application, you are not going to insert any total monthly income for the family members. And the reason for that is there's no guarantee that the family will start receiving employment income after they arrive in Canada. And so we're not going to put any figures in there for this calculation. Click the button, Calculate Minimum Support. As soon as we do that, we get a new page that opens up, and I'm going to explain to you it's divided into a few sections. The top section includes the startup costs. And then if you scroll down a little further, you'll see minimum monthly sponsorship costs. And then scrolling down further would be the section for special allowances. And then we have all of our totals at the bottom of the page down here. And let me explain how this page is divided into its columns. You have a listing of the startup costs and the possible maximum percentage of in-kind deductions that are permitted for you to insert, listed on the left-hand side here. The next column, one-time cost. This is your actual legal liability amount for each of these items before any in-kind deductions are being applied. And so without any in-kind deductions, for this family of 4, they should be receiving startup funds of $6,900. Now, when it comes to making in-kind deductions for startup costs, you can insert the allowable percentage or the cost of the item that you have a receipt for in the in-kind support column. So the left-hand side is for the dollar amount, and the right-hand side is to input percentage amount. Now, if you had items in your possession already, then you can make in-kind deductions at the time of application. If you don't have any of these items in your possession already, if you haven't purchased anything yet or nothing has been collected in way of donations yet, where you have an approximate value or a receipt to get the dollar figures from, then you should not be inputting any in-kind amounts at the time of application. But let's say for demonstration purposes that you do have some furniture that has been donated already. And let's say that the value of the furniture was $4,000. Now, we can't insert $4,000 because the maximum allowable percentage for furniture in kind is 70%. So we can insert 70%. And if we hit enter, we see that the calculations are already made for us. So the adjusted one-time cost has been reduced to $990 instead of $3,300. And the reason we can insert this amount is because we have receipts to prove that the furniture was purchased, or we have a list of donors with their contact information and the approximate value of the in-kind item. And perhaps you've taken pictures of the in-kind item to demonstrate that the quality is the value that you are indicating it is worth. And let me just say that most of these in-kind deductions are set at 70%, but some of them are set for 50%, like the staple allowance, basic household needs, and school startup allowance. You can apply those at 50%. You'll notice that utility installation cannot be reduced in kind, so the family will receive the full amount of $75 for their utility installation amounts. Let's take a look at the monthly sponsorship costs. So on a monthly basis, before any in-kind deductions are made, the sponsorship group is responsible to provide basic needs allowance at $525.58 for this family of 4. And the shelter allowance is $700 per month. And there's also an additional $200 housing supplement that is typically also provided because normally the cost of rent for a family of 4 is going to be much higher than $700 a month. They'll receive a $30 communication allowance, a transportation allowance that is based on a bus pass for every adult within the family, and the total minimum monthly sponsorship costs for this family before any in-kind deductions would be $1,959.58. Now, this amount would be multiplied by 12, so you could figure out the annual cost before in-kind deductions are applied. Now, let's look at the shelter allowance and the housing supplement deduction. Let's say that the family is going to live with a party to the sponsorship. So one of the individuals who has signed the undertaking agreement are providing shelter in kind. What that means is that the family who arrives does not have to pay rent. And when that happens, you can make a deduction of 100% for shelter, and that reduces the cost of sponsorship significantly. And you'll see it automatically reduces the housing supplement as well. Now, you would not be able to reduce the cost of sponsorship if you intend to obtain shelter for the family, but you haven't got that shelter in your possession already. So you would not insert any in-kind shelter deductions until the time of arrival, because at the time of application, you aren't renting an apartment for them or a house for them until they arrive. So in-kind deductions cannot be applied until you have them in your possession. So that's the calculation tool. A couple of other quick things to note. You can print this page by selecting the print button here. Now it's not going to be formatted very great, but you can at least print your calculations before closing the website. If you wanted to go back and do another family, you can clear all the calculations at once. Select your clear all button and it should reset the form to 0 again. And you can also use that back button to get to this page as well. So that's it. Now, if you have any questions, if you need support, you can first try contacting an RSTP trainer in your region. Go to the rstp.ca website and look for the link called Contact Us. Under that page, you will find the different provinces listed, and you can contact an RSTP trainer of your choice. When it comes to complicated case scenarios for a specific family, and you want to make sure you're providing the correct amount for your legal liability, it's a good idea to contact the email address where you can reach the RSAT team. And so you'll want to send them an email and ask them for assistance in calculating your legal liability amounts.